Hello and welcome to Chandler in Focus. I'm Phil Westbrooks, Vice Mayor for the City of Chandler. Thank you for joining us today. We have a wonderful show, very interesting. It's on an organization that has recently moved to Chandler, and it's called the Never Again Foundation. With us here to talk to us about the Never Again Foundation is Keith Perkins, the founder and executive director of the Never Again Foundation. Keith, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. Thank you for bringing us.
Very glad to have you here. Tell us about the Never Again Foundation. What do you do and what are your goals?
What we do at the foundation is we're a group of lawyers, and we're a nonprofit foundation. We provide free legal representation for women, children, and senior citizens that might have found themselves victims of either physical or sexual abuse. And what we do is we represent them in civil actions directly against their abusers to hold them financially accountable.
Okay. So basically under the umbrella of domestic violence or child abuse, sexual abuse. And
that's exactly the area of law we deal with, yes.
Okay, great. Why is it the civil justice system? Isn't it the criminal justice system where the abusers pay the debt to society?
You know, that's one of my favorite sayings, is that under the criminal justice system, abusers pay their debt to society. That's true. They go to jail and they can pay their debt to society. But the only place that it is made for them to pay their debt to their victims is through the civil justice system. The cost of crime is staggering. It costs billions of dollars annually. There's only 3 people that can pay that cost: the abusers or the criminals who caused the crime, the victims that they do it to, or the rest of us in society. And the only legal system designed to take that staggering cost and put it back upon the people who cause it, back upon the perpetrators, is the civil justice system. That's the only place it can be done. And the criminal system wasn't designed for that. That's why we help the victims to do that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Very logical, very practical. And I understand that, and I agree with it. And I think we should do more of that, where the abusers, the violators, the people who commit the crimes should be the persons that are responsible to pay for those crimes. Too often, it's either the victim who pays or the taxpayers, us,
That's
the
right.
rest of us.
That's exactly right.
That end up picking up the tab for someone else who committed the crime.
We kind of
just don't understand that.
Well, we got tired of that. And like I said, the only place that it can be done is in the civil system. The criminal justice system is designed to protect society by putting the bad guy, if possible, behind bars. That's what it's about. It's not designed to make the financial accountability stick. And so the rest of it falls through to the victims and to the rest of us. And the only place it can be taken care of is the civil justice system.
Okay, so that's why you focus.
That's why we do what we do.
All right. Let's talk about the success of the program, the Never Again Foundation. I'm very familiar with it, but share that with our audience, because I think it's so important to know, your success in what you've done in the community.
Well, we have been able to, again, we take civil lawsuits directly against the abusers or criminals to hold them financially accountable. And we now have the top verdicts or judgments in Arizona history now. If you had the top 10 list up, I don't know if we've got all top 10 now, but we've got the vast majority of them. We have held abusers accountable for anywhere between hundreds of thousands of dollars to several millions of dollars. By the time you add up all of the cases, the multiple cases that we've received judgments on behalf of our clients for against their perpetrators, it now totals approximately $50 million.
Let's talk about your work in the legislature, because you've made some major milestones there as well. And I must say, you and the rest of the attorneys in your office, your board, your support staff have done an outstanding job.
Well, because the work that we do is so unique, we're able to take real-life examples of when the legal system works, and then we're also able to expose some of the loopholes that the bad guys, that the criminals are using to get out of financial accountability. When we are able to take a real-life example of how they've been able to avoid accountability, we can take that example over to the legislature and say, here's the problem. This is where they're getting away with it. This is a loophole, and we have an idea for you on how to fix it, and this is what we would suggest. We now have had, each one of the last 2 years, we have had one of those types of issues go to the legislature. We have presented a solution for the problem, and they have enacted the laws that we have suggested in order to close those loopholes. One of them we're very excited, well, both of them we're very excited about. The first one was called Jerry's Law, and that was a case where the criminal statute of limitations, how long you have to go after a guy or somebody, a criminal, to hold them criminally accountable, can be 7 years or indefinite, however long it takes. We feel so strongly about holding them accountable, we'll go after them forever. But for the exact same act, for the victim of that crime under the civil system, they only had 2 years. So you could, if the criminal process took longer than 2 years to hold somebody accountable for that, even if they got them criminally convicted, even if they were behind bars for murder, if it took longer than 2 years, the victim would lose all of their rights. That didn't feel right. So we showed that through a case that we took all the way to the Court of Appeals. We went down to the legislature, and within 6 weeks after us presenting that idea, it was unanimously approved. And Arizona became one of the first states in the nation to have a law such as that to protect victims' rights. We were very, very proud to be a part of that.
Yeah. What's the other example that you...
The other example was one that we did this year, and believe it or not, it was a loophole for domestic violence to hold a person who had been convicted of domestic violence in their divorce could use the fact that they were married as a defense to not having to pay their victim if they were married to him because of what was called marital misconduct. They could say the fact, under Arizona law, you can't consider marital misconduct when you're dividing up the property in a divorce. So they were saying that my criminal act of domestic violence against you was marital misconduct, therefore you can't consider that, therefore you have to pay for it yourself. And that was the way some of the rulings were coming out. Well, this year we were able to get the legislature to specifically exclude crimes from that marital misconduct. So if it's in a marital situation anymore, bad guys can't use that as an excuse. They are now held completely accountable for it.
Great. Great work in the legislature, and I know you've been down there quite a bit, and it's working. They're listening and they're making changes, and they deserve a lot of credit as well, our legislature, for listening, understanding it, and making the changes necessary. Anything you'd like to add?
First of all, I guess I would like to say that if there's anybody that needs help, feel free to give us a call. We will do our best to answer any of the legal questions that you have, especially pertaining to this field of law. If we can't answer the question, we'll try to get you to the right people who can, or to the right resources that can. And if there are, for those businesses, corporations, or individuals out there that would like to help, we can always use help at the foundation. Please feel free to give us a call.
Great. Been meeting with Keith Perkins, the founder and executive director of the Never Again Foundation. You're at www.neveragainfoundation.org.
We're actually at .org.com, either one. But yes, you can find us right there.